The honor of introducing and kicking off our 40th anniversary business luncheon, and this one will be an exciting one for you, I think. We really feel this 40th anniversary within SMPS is introducing a whole new stage of SMPS leaving its adolescence and moving into young adulthood. And as you know, that can be a change, but a very positive change also. And as was mentioned this morning by our speaker, is that we have limitless possibilities going forward, and I honestly believe that totally. I'm also got one of the best jobs in the entire world. I get to work with a team of people that are actually, I'm closer to than my family. They're absolutely fantastic, and they work tirelessly for you on an ongoing basis. I also get to work with a board of directors that is totally dedicated to each of you, the industry, and the profession, and doing everything they can to make it better, and it just gets better and better each year. I also get to work with chapter leadership that is absolutely outstanding. An example, I was just last month in northern New England working with Katie Hughes, who's, as you heard last night, is the new fellow and is coming back for her second term in office. But one of her first actions was to, one, call every member that was involved in the chapter. Two, went out and we met with all the major firms in Portland, Maine to kind of get a feel for what their needs are going forward. And last, she took the entire board for a planning retreat on a beautiful island and really plotted out their entire year. And she's typical of what's going on around the country in the chapters. Absolutely stellar leadership from coast to coast. And last but not least, I get the opportunity of working with each of you. And we are seriously concerned with trying to help you in every way we can. As a society, we're really trying to upgrade our resources, both in the office and around the country, and upgrade the personnel and training within the offices to provide you with the skills you need going forward. So we're doing everything we can to make that happen. As you're going to hear from the program this at noon here, some phenomenal things are taking place, and some even more exciting and dynamic things are taking place on a national level, which I think are going to affect each of you and your companies going forward. I'd like to now turn the podium over to Bill Long, who is the current president of the SMPS Foundation, who has had an absolutely stellar year. Bill, come on up.
Thank you, Ron, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes of time. I promise to be brief, just to give a quick highlight of the SMPS Foundation, what we've done this past year, what we're going to be doing over the coming year. Hopefully everybody here knows that the SMPS Foundation is the entity within the group, within SMPS, that's responsible for research. We research the built environment and the business development and marketing process within the built environment. And we provide that information to our members so you can use it, share it with your coworkers, share it with your presidents, and hopefully you found that useful in the past. We've had some great content. We have some great content coming forward. Out in the lobby at the registration desk, there was an infographic that's going to come up on the screen here as well. Quick highlight of what we've done this past year as well as what we're going to be doing going forward. I want to highlight a couple of things we've done this past year. For those of you who were there at the session yesterday, McGraw-Hill, Steve Jones from McGraw-Hill put on a presentation in which he relayed the findings of a smart market report. And that smart market report was sponsored by the Foundation, SMPS itself, AIA, DBIA, and we looked at a couple things in that report. They surveyed owners, they surveyed architects, they surveyed contractors as well, and talked about the various delivery methods within our industry. Design, bid, build, design, build, CM at risk, IPD, and they looked at which ones were the most successful for owners, however they define success, profitability, efficiency, etc. We also looked at the quantitative versus fee-based selection process for those projects. Depending on how the owner selected their design teams and their construction teams, which one turned out more successful? Great results from that. It was presented yesterday. The entire document, 68 pages. It just got finished. It was published yesterday as well. It will be available on the website for all our members free of charge. I encourage you to take a look at it. One quick thing. In the past, a lot of people know us for the white papers. White papers, we've published 30 some of them. They're available for free to members on the website. It was primarily secondary research. Last year, we took that thought leadership series and we changed it a little bit in two ways. We went to primary research and we also went to a larger, more in-depth study, which resulted in the book AEC Business Development, A Decade Ahead. Many of you bought it. We know from the statistics it was a great financial success for us. But more importantly, you're using it. You're sharing the information that we got from primary research with owners, how they select our firms, and you're sharing that with your coworkers, with the owners of your firms, and hopefully you're being more successful. That book is available for sale. It's available here at the conference at a discounted rate. I encourage you to pick it up there if you don't have it already. Now, we're actually going forward looking at another way to revise the white paper series. We're doing a series of research reports that we're calling White Papers 2.0. They're going to be quarterly released. We're going to continue that primary research focus, but we're going to disseminate it a little differently. Not only is there going to be a written report, but it's going to be delivered graphically. Webinars, streaming video. We're going to have blogs on the website. So look forward to that this coming fall. Second thing we're noted for in the past, think tanks. We've put on 4 or 5 of them. This year, that also was tweaked. And this coming year, we're going to have what's called an innovation workshop, September 18th in Chicago. Information's available over at the registration desk on the program, as well as available to sign up. What it is we take one topic. This year, it's going to be getting to go. We talked with owners of your firms, and they identified a problem in our profession is actually getting projects to move forward, and it's not just a financial reason that's stopping it. So we're going to look at how we can innovatively help our clients move their projects forward. We have an innovation guru, Greg Farley, and Greg is actually going to be the facilitator, the keynoter for that day. Take a look, Google him. Take a look. He's in a number of TED Talks, a number of presentations that are online. He's really an innovation guru. He's going to lead us that day. And together with 5 owners representing energy, developer, transportation, healthcare, higher ed, we're actually going to solve real problems and take it back to our companies as a little toolkit that we could use to help our clients solve problems. It's a great interactive day. We anticipate it's going to sell out. The discounted rate is already available until later this month. I encourage everybody to sign up, September 18th. Last thing I'm going to mention, in addition to the research, we do one other thing. We administer a scholarship, and that scholarship is named the Ron Garika Scholarship. And it's named after a former national president of SMPS who passed away a couple years ago. This scholarship is given in $2,500 amount to an individual who's getting their bachelor's or master's degree and is pursuing a career within professional services marketing. We recently awarded this year's winner. You see it up on the screen. Mallory Atkinson in Atlanta won the award this year. She's getting her MBA at this time. She couldn't be here today. The award was presented, you can see in the photo, at a recent Atlanta chapter event. So with that, last thing I'll mention is look forward to another year of continued success. Scott Butcher's taking over as president September 1. He's implementing a lot of the stuff I just mentioned, as well as a number of other. So we thank you for your support, and hopefully you use our research information. With that, I'm going to introduce, for I think the last time at this conference, your SMPS National President, Brad Thurman.
Yes, for the last time. I know you're crushed. We okay? It's been a fantastic year. I've had some of the things the initiatives that we've taken on this year are unbelievable. And rather than have me stand up here and tell you what we've been up to, I'd like to introduce you to our current board of directors, and they're going to kind of fill you in on what we've been doing over the last 12 months. So, our current board of directors, we're just waiting until you sat down. Barbara Shuck is our president-elect. Kevin Hevelfoyd is our past president. Doug Parker, secretary-treasurer. Melissa Lutz, chapter delegate. Paula Ryan, at-large delegate. And Carla Thompson, our fellows delegate. All right? So I've been on my feet all morning, so I'm going to take a seat, and I'm going to pass it to Barbara now. She's got a few things that she wants to cover.
Exactly. It's been a great year as president-elect, and I've had pretty much 4 different initiatives and different parts of the organization that we've been working on. So bring up my slide. So the first one is the International Task Force. What we decided with some input from some of our members that we wanted to discuss and find out more about what is the interest and the need for international within the society. So thank you to Jennifer Van Fleet and Hope Wilson for crafting some great papers, conducting a survey to assess what is the need for our international with our members. We're going to be moving forward with this in the years to come, and we're really looking forward to seeing how we can impact members in their international business. The second one is I worked with the Technology Committee. Thank you to Adam Kilborn, who is the chair, and to Jen Andrews, who is the incoming chair. And for the Technology Committee, we did a lot of publications, research, and promotion on behalf of technology and how it can impact our members. We had a couple of articles in the Marketer. We also had a Tech Tools, which was some research that provided chapters with good information about the different technology tools that they could use to manage their chapters. We also had a SMPS scavenger hunt to help people understand how to navigate through SMPS, and it was very successful. And finally, we also did some testing with the Uber conference and video streaming. So your technology committee is really working hard to help us be able to use technology more effectively. The third main thing that I did was really fun was to help with the PLS, which is the President's Leadership Symposium, which is the training ground for your chapter leaders. We had a great event this year, and I know Melissa's going to talk about it in more detail. But we wanted to make PLS a go-to place. It is go-to from the standpoint of leadership training, your network, and really creating the leaders for our chapters and our organization. So I want to give a big shout out to the Guild.
Got your shirt.
I got my shirt. So thank you to all the Guild president-elects. You guys are awesome, and we're looking for great things this year as well as in the future. And then the final thing that we did this year that was a thrill beyond belief was to talk about setting the direction for the society in the future, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So it's been a great year as president-elect. I'm very excited for the year to come. This is a fantastic board to work with, and we're all here on your behalf, for you and serving on your behalf, so thank you very much.
Well, let me tell you, the perspective of a past president, it is different. First of all, the accommodations are very different. And then things like you come to the conference and you run into Ron Worth and you say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, hi, which event are you here for?" Seriously, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to twist it just a little bit, don't get worried. I want to talk to, as I've done before from this stage, to those of you who are here for maybe the first, maybe the second time or so, and are trying to figure out where you're going to go next with your SMPS career. All these things you're going to hear about from the other really smart people on stage that I want to tell you to pay attention to and get involved with. There's so many things and so many resources that as a past president, I've been able to actually use as opposed to get up and preach about. Does that make sense? For example, I had a really good friend, actually, in this case a family member, come to me not too long ago and say, "I want to know more about what you guys do and your industry." And I had a very specific tool to put into that person's hands. In that particular case, it was the blueprints document. I said, look at page 3 for this kind of information, look at page 4, and so on and so forth. And without having to go into a long spiel about what we do, a very specific resource that helped that person think about a possible career move. Another example, I got asked to do a chapter planning strategy thing not too long ago, and I was very happy to be able to just go pick up the strategic planning toolkit that we put together as a society, and good grief, it's a great thing. I mean, it mapped it out, had great activities. My point is there are things that if you're a first or second year member and you're trying to figure out how to use SMPS and get more out of it, I want to challenge you to do a couple of things. The first is just increase your involvement. Wherever you are right now, you only have 24 hours in a day. I know you have a day job. Just figure out how to segment your time a little bit to find some of these resources and leverage it in a way that can benefit several things. Put your family first. Find a way to increase your involvement with your family. Find a way to increase your involvement with your firm. In most cases, they're probably the one financing your trip here, right? And thirdly, find a way to increase the involvement with your future. We're all on a different career path. We've had all kinds of good sessions, as we were talking about, to help us ponder where we are right now and where we can go. But find a way to increase your involvement with your own future with that personal investment. Second of 3 things I'm going to tell you, figure out a way to do a better job leading with marketing. I don't care what your position is. I don't care where you are at your firm. There is something you can get from SMPS to take back and use it in a way that you can lead your firm with marketing. And if you have any question about what that means, come find me later and we'll get you hooked up with the right resources. Finally, and I'm supposed to give some cues to Tina Myers, so I'm about to do that right now. I didn't want to be that guy as the past president that called into the meetings late or sat in the back and doodled. Cue slide. But sure enough, I sat in the back of the room and doodled. For me, this one particular doodle was from our last face-to-face meeting where I actually thought through some of the things and the specific people that had had an impact on my life and my SMPS career. So that's proof that I actually became that guy. The last thing I'll leave you with, cue slide, is to watch your wake. I don't know why, I've always been fascinated with wake. A boat's in the water, it goes forward, and it creates wake. Wake can be bad, it can mess up other boats along the way, cue slide, but it can also be a lot of fun. It can create different kinds of scenes, cue slide. It can also create fun for somebody behind you who's hanging on for dear life. My point to you is, wake for me is something that you can look at from several perspectives and figure out what you're going to do about it. Create more, create less, jump over it, ride through it. And for me, looking back on 5 years on the board and 15 years as a member, SMPS has been a part of that for the entire time. For those of you I haven't met yet, let's find each other soon. Thank you for letting me serve.
So I absolutely don't want to follow Kevin, but I have to. Melissa wouldn't trade places last minute. So I'm your secretary treasurer, and I just want to share with you some facts and some things that have been happening this year. I think the best news is we're in really good financial, we're stable, and we're in a really good financial situation. So as a society, we're whole. I've got notes because I've got numbers, but membership is strong. Recruitment efforts are on track with budget. We've increased our membership about 5% in the last 18 months alone. And if things continue on track, we will stay in the black for the 5th year in a row. So we're stable, things are solid, reserves are good. Of course, Barbara told me this morning that the news said there was a stock drop, so we'll hopefully have the same report tomorrow, but right now things are really good. So some demographics about our membership. We currently have just over 6,200 members, making up right at 6,000 regular members and about 167 student members, which I think is great that that number is what it is and always growing. And fascinating to me is while I was doing some research, our 10 largest chapters make up 2,200 people of our membership, which is just pretty incredible that we've got that concentration. Where our members come from, we kind of consistently remain highly concentrated with engineers, with 24.4% of our members working for engineering firms, 12.9% working with architecture firms, and we've got about a little over 11% that are AE combo, 8.8% construction management firms, and then we really drop down to geotechs 1.9%, design builds about 1.5%, landscape architecture, and so forth, just kind of trickling down. Our retention rate right now is about 84%, which is up from 74%, which is where we were just a few years ago in 2011, so that's great news. And you've heard the number about CPSMs. We've got right at 832. So, numbers are good, things are going well. Very excited to report that. So a couple of things that I've been working on this year, the biggest of which is we just started a treasurer's task force for chapters and for regional conferences. And our goal with this is to put together a toolkit. Chris Rickman, who's from Oklahoma, who's probably here, and Sharon O'Feel, who's from my chapter in Houston, are heading up this effort, and we're putting together a toolkit. So many of our treasurers come into their position and really, truly just don't have a lot of experience with financials. They've probably never used or seen QuickBooks before. So we're trying to do some things to give them some resources and tools so they are equipped to lead our chapters and lead our regional conferences. So that'll be rolling out. Our goal is to have the toolkit ready for PLS and provide best practices, and just some real meat for these guys to get to work. Antonio Payne, who is our CFO, is going to work with this group of our incoming treasurers. We're looking at doing things like potentially having each chapter submit a monthly financial, just so we've got somebody at a CFO level looking at our revenue, at a chapter level looking for red flags, looking for things we can do to help and support. So good stuff. Look for that to come. And then lastly, this morning you heard a little bit about something new and exciting that's happening with our compensation and metrics survey. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago, a task force was started to develop this survey. It is out, it's ready. We have Jane out right near the registration booth who's here today to help people sign up to take the survey. Please do this, it's going to be a fantastic tool. The survey is online, it's available through August 31st. As a member, if you participate and complete at least 50% of the survey, which should take you about 15 minutes to finish the complete survey, but if you participate, when the results are out, a little bit later this fall, you'll get a copy for free. So I encourage you to do that. Go talk to Jane, get signed up today. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am the SMPS chapter delegate, so I get the pleasure of working with every chapter in the organization. And it's been an awesome experience. We've been doing some great things. The first thing I wanted to let you guys know about, and I might jump around a little bit, my slide's gonna come up in a minute, but since Doug just addressed some stats, I thought I would share with you one little statistic. We celebrated last night the Striving for Excellence Awards, AKE SFE. Some of the things that we're involved with have all these acronyms and initials, so I wanted to kind of let you know what that is. Striving for Excellence is a program that celebrates our chapters and all the successes they've had. It helps them set up a framework for running their chapter, growing their leaders, and getting people involved. What that is on several levels, it celebrates the programs and education of each chapter, and it celebrates membership, it celebrates everything, whether you're doing mentoring. I would encourage any of you who have not seen the criteria for this, take a look at it, you will be blown away. We had 40 total chapters submit this year. That stat is significantly increased over the last couple of years. Whoever is a part of that committee, if you're here today, thank you so much for all of your work, because it is such a great effort, and we would not be successful without our chapters. The second thing that I wanted to talk about today, and I know it's going to be discussed further later, but we've been working with an organization. Brad will chat a little bit about it in a minute. But what they're doing is they're helping us pull together some content and messaging to support the chapters. All of you have asked for that. We've surveyed you, and you said you would need that from a headquarters level, and we are doing just that. We are working with them, and we expect to roll that out sometime this year. So be looking for that support this year. The next thing I want to talk about is the PLS. That is another thing with initials, President's Leadership Symposium. And thank you to the Guild. This was my first time being involved with PLS, and it was awesome. When I was a president way back when, it was one day, I was in and out, and it was nothing like it is now. It's truly a tribe of people pulling together for support. That PLS, for you guys who are not a chapter leader, it is something that grows our leaders. So for you who are out there as firm principals and marketing directors, you want someone to be on your board. You want someone to be a president and be a part of that PLS, because we're training future leaders of the organization. We are helping them to get a framework together of how to be a leader of their firm. Without being a chapter president, I would not be up here today, and I would not be a principal of my firm. It truly, truly catapulted me into a new realm. So please consider serving, and please consider being a chapter president at some point. If you want to talk about that offline, find me, and I will help you build your case for support with your firm about why that's a great thing for you to do, for them and for you. And my last thing that I wanted to talk about, and by no means the least important, is the Chapter Growth Initiative. A lot of chapters out there. There have been about 12 chapters, well, actually 20 total that we worked with this year on this growth initiative. And what that means for all of you members is that we are growing the SMPS network. We're giving you more avenues, and we're giving you more warm calls. So when you pick up that phone, and you call anybody out there of the 6,200 members, we want to grow that to 10,000 members. And everybody in this room can help us by growing, by talking to people, by spreading the word. So thank you to everybody here. And if you have any questions about chapters or anything like that, find me. I'm here. You can text, call, whatever. I love the phone. Call me anytime. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paula Ryan. I'm the at-large delegate on the Society board. At-large. What does that mean? What do you... it is a challenging role because what it means is that I represent all 6,000 of you as an individual. Whereas Melissa represents the chapters, Carla represents the fellows, my role is to represent you and you and you and you and you and as an individual and understand what you're getting from the organization, what your benefits are, what's going to help you in your career. So that's been my role. One of the main focus of that, Brad has asked me to work with the education and certification program. And in doing that, I kind of had to take a step back for myself. You know, when we talk about certification, we're just like, read the books, read the books, read the books. But certification is not about reading the books. Certification is about understanding and having proficiency in the domains of practice. It means that you read the books, you understand the concepts, and you apply the concepts in your day-to-day work. So it helped me to go back and think about certification in that way. So I hope you all will do that too. A big initiative this year was looking at the role delineation survey that you all completed just a year ago, taking the results of that role delineation survey and really understanding, are the domains of practice as they were when we founded them. So the purpose was to really see where we are with the areas of expertise and skill sets with the domains of practice. I'm really happy to share that the role delineation survey validated the domains of practice. We're not off base. The one thing it did, though, was allow us to kind of tweak some skill sets and some knowledge areas within the domains of practice. So you'll hear the new domains, which always made me panic, like, oh my God, there's new domains of practice? There aren't. They're updated domains of practice. So what we did with that was there's an online review that you can take a look at that goes over the domains. And the other piece that we did was we looked at blueprints. We now have to update blueprints to version 2.0. And so Chris Rickman and his task force did that by comparing the role delineation survey, the domains of practice, and then tweaking the blueprints. So take a look at that. And then working with the certification committee under Bethany Rustick-Smith, it's been a really, really busy year. We did some shoring up of the certification program this year, if you will. One of their goals was to source every CPSM exam question. I think there's something like 250 questions in the CPSM exam question pool. So what that means is that if you want to know where the answer to question 32 on your test came from, we can go back and tell you that it came from page 368 in the AEC handbook. So every question is now sourced. The other thing that allowed us to do was look at the study material, because I think, as you all know, some of the study material is a little out of date. We're working on getting that updated. But how do we tweak the exam to represent the best content? So we created a CPSM exam, CPSM study, I'm gonna get it wrong, a CPSM reading material task force led by Craig Galati. And their goal was to look at the domains and look at the reading material and try to understand what is still valid and what is not. And they did that. So based upon their work, we now have a recommended reading list of 3 books: the handbook, Wired to Clients, and Ford Harding's Rainmaking book. There's also a suggested reading list that has some of the typical books that we've had on the list, as well as the articles. But now all questions will come from that recommended reading list. And I don't want anybody to panic, because you're going to take the test in a week and, oh my God, what about those books? That is not going to go into effect until probably the beginning of 14. So we'll transition to the recommended reading list in 15, I'm sorry, in the beginning of 15. So very busy, very busy. Okay, the SMPS mission, advocate, educate, and connect. Well, what really are we doing to educate you? We have the certification program, and what else do we have? We have some books, but your board sitting up here recognizes that we need to do a better job of fulfilling our mission to you and create better educational, more correct content for you. We've brought on a new Senior Vice President of Education, Alla Orlova, who brings all kinds of dynamite expertise and background in developing education programs. And one of the things you're going to see is an electronic learning management system, LMS, another acronym. The LMS will be an online tool for you to access study guides, workbooks, webinars, all different kinds of content delivery systems so that you can learn in the best way for you. That content is going to be developed by subject matter experts, which are you, all of you will be involved in developing content, as well as working with our learning management system to develop the content. And you can expect to see that probably in about a year to a half. It takes a long time, but it's coming, and I promise you it's going to be dynamite. So that's been the year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carla Thompson, and I'm the Fellows Delegate for another half an hour. And the Fellows have a mission. We have Grant said it really well this morning. He said we're all each other's teachers, and that is really the role of the Fellows. We are a resource. And the reason I became so passionate and wanted to be a Fellows Delegate was because I talked to somebody in my own chapter, Kenda Salisbury, who told me, she came up and introduced herself to me at a conference, and then at a later conversation she said, you know, that was really hard for me to come up and say hi because you're a fellow. I go, what? She goes, yeah, you're a fellow. I go, you know, I'm just like you, but it made me realize that the fellows people don't see us very much. We weren't very visible, and that people thought of us like we were old, or, well, I kind of am, but but I wanted people to know that the fellows are approachable, accessible, and a resource. We've been there, we've done this, we know, we've just done it longer. And with age comes wisdom, a few wrinkles too, but with wisdom. And so I wanted the fellows to be more visible. So that became my passion and my mission, was to engage the fellows and make them across the country more accessible to all of the members and all of the chapters. One of the things that's been probably most rewarding to me has been able to give back in terms of the Fellows Scholarship. How many people here bought raffle tickets today?
Awesome.
Thank you so much. How many people won prizes? A couple people bought more than one, got more than one prize. Thank you so much. I did get the numbers, and I wanted you to know. Did you all see on the beginning when you came in who won? If you didn't see who won, there's also a sign out by registration that tells you. The final number count is we raised, as of this morning, $4,085. Ron Worth said this morning in the speech that he would match whatever people donated today. So we are now up to $4,840, which means not only did we pay for the scholarship we already gave in the spring, we were able to do a second scholarship. So on your chairs, or on most of the chairs, you've got a flyer. So there's instructions about how to apply to go to SMPSU. We've already sent 2 members to SMPS University. Grenee is here, and Kim, and we had their pictures up somewhere. Why don't you stand up? Hi, Kim. Grenee, stand up. It's so gratifying for the fellows to be able to invest in future fellows, people that we think are going to go ahead and pay it forward. And thanks to all of you for helping to support our efforts in that regards, and to all the people who made contributions, either in cash or raffle items. And throughout the year, we even did a football pool during the Super Bowl. Seahawks won. So Christine King and I did a little smackdown. It was great. But giving back and providing those kinds of opportunities to make the fellows more visible. We also do things in terms of knowledge sharing. So Fellows Forums is something we started in the Seattle chapter, and it's grown throughout the country, and other chapters are doing it now. We're doing it on regional conferences. We did it here at this conference at CPSM Day. It was the first half of the CPSM Day program. Bill Strong was our moderator. I heard such great feedback. We had 5 fellows from across the country with all types of different experience, sharing just from their heart what they've done, their experience, their stories. And you know, we all have the same experiences. We can just learn from each other. That's what Grant said this morning. The Fellows Forums have been incredibly powerful, but also sharing information and knowledge outside of SMPS has been one of my challenges this year. And doing that at the peer association and client organization. So our goal has been to position fellows at all of the different client organization conferences. Karen Courtney's been very active in the AIA. We've had conference speakers, we've been doing marketing checkups, getting our fellows out there visible, writing for publications. That's what it's been all about, making the fellows accessible, approachable, and a resource. In that same line, we're developing a Fellows Resource Directory. And our first audience, the most important audience, is our chapters and our members. It's a way that you're going to be able to go online and be able to look up if you're looking for a mentor or for a subject matter expert. You'll be able to look up and find somebody, either in your region or across the country. Our other audience is peer associations. We're going to market the resource directory to them because we want them coming to us as the marketing and business development experts that should be speaking at their conferences and writing their articles and being interviewed by their people. The media is our other audience. So this is a tool that we're working on. Rolf Usler has been working on this. We have a beta test working that we've developed right now. That'll be out shortly. It'll be online and available, and it'll be a speakers bureau that we are going to advertise throughout the online. We also this year did the Fellows Recognition Program. Last night you got to meet 6 new fellows. In case you weren't here, let me tell you, it's Phyllis Boyer, Craig Galati, Don Greco, Katie Hughes, Stacy Stout, and Bethany Smith. And for them to become fellows this year, it was extra hard because part of what we did is we actually changed the criteria this year. We worked with the fellows jury and we raised the points so it made it even more difficult, so the fact that they made it in made it even more special. This next year we changed it again, and it's changing to you're going to have a minimum of 15 years experience, of which 5 has to be as a CPSM. That's an important distinction. So we're doing that because to become a fellow, it's the highest level of recognition you can have within our organization. It needs to be a high bar. So we made that change. The other thing that we did as the fellows jury is we introduced a brand new category in the fellows category called honorary FSMPS, honorary fellow. And this allows the fellows community to nominate somebody outside of SMPS. What's up? Something's wazzing, right? Thank you.
They'll do it for you.
Hi. Microphones love me. We're introducing. Now they turn me off.
They've got to turn them on, yeah.
Hi. 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 We're introducing one more new category called honorary fellow.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, see? Start over, Carla. Just start over.
okay. From the very beginning? Honorary fellow. This is a chance for the fellows community to nominate somebody outside of SMPS that we feel represents somebody who does an exemplary job of marketing their services, their firm. Some of the names that we thought of might be Michael Graves or Gene Cohn, people who have developed their practice and their business because they are exemplary marketers and business developers on their own, or they've built a marketing culture within their firm, or it could be somebody in the media that knows as much about our industry, if not more, than we do. We want to be associated with those people, so this is an opportunity for us to nominate the fellows, to nominate somebody to be an honorary fellow, 1 per year. It's a very special distinction, and we're starting that next year. And last but not least is the Army of Chapter Champions. One of the things I've done to activate the fellows and get them involved was to call on them and ask them to step up and serve as chapter champions. Every chapter has one. Not every chapter has a fellow in it, although we're getting better with having Las Vegas and Sacramento now. But we do have several fellows that act as a phone a fellow, so they can call and ask for help, or they can invite fellows to come in and speak. So every chapter has somebody that can come in and be their resource and help them out. These people have all been on the chapter boards. They don't want to run your chapters. They're there as a resource. They can come in and do speaking programs for you. They won't charge you. They're just there as a resource. So my pleasure has been activating this group of incredible individuals. It's the smallest community that we have within SMPS. It's also the most incredible group of smart people I've ever had the chance to work with, and it's just been a pleasure to represent the fellows. Thank you.
It's amazing these people all have day jobs too, you know? They've given their heart and soul this year, and I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for doing this year. I can't imagine a better group of people to have done it with, so thank you for your love and support. I appreciate it. There's a couple of other initiatives that we want to go over real quick, and these aren't things that have been going on just this year, but they've been going on over the last couple of years. The first one is a new branding and messaging program. You know, we're a marketing organization. Our branding and our messaging is important, and we're like any other firm. We're running out of materials. We needed to get things reprinted. We needed to be able to get things in the chapter's hands, and we started looking at everything and thought it felt a little dated. So we wanted to come up with new stuff. Hired a consultant, and that consultant started a marketing and branding process with us, a whole dialogue about the process. So we really took a step back, and it's taken a little bit longer to roll out than we had originally intended when we just thought we need to print some more promotional material. But I think it's going to be really great, and it's going to be really easy for members and chapters to work with in the future. Starting off, this is the past SMPS voice. This is the one you've seen for years, right? You all know these people. They've been around forever. But it's time for them to retire, all right, because we're done with that. The new SMPS voice is this: obsessed with your success. And we're rolling out a new look. All of the graphics are going to play off of that. Everything is going to be about being obsessed with your success in your jobs and your careers. And you know, we're going to work up a number of different promotional materials that are all going to play off of this. And right now we're giving AEC professionals the knowledge network and training for smarter marketing and stronger results. I mean, we're really trying to distill this down into a really nice packaging effort that you can use. The next thing I want to talk about, this is going to be a fun one. We've been working for a while to kind of revamp the marketer, not from a content standpoint, because the content is still first rate, but we want to update the look along the same lines as updating our marketing materials. So starting with the October edition of the marketer, when it hits your mailbox, it's going to look like this. So, we're really, really excited about this refresh, and it's not just a new cover. It's a new graphic standard that's going to permeate all the way through and make it look just as good as the material that's in it, okay? Last thing I want to talk about, and this was an initiative for this conference, but it's taking off more as an initiative for SMPS, I think, and that was side-by-side. I don't know how many of you heard about side-by-side. The idea behind side-by-side that we wanted to do this year was that we wanted to have a community service project with Build Business. We wanted people that wanted to volunteer to come in a day early. We'd pick a project and we would work on it. This year we worked with SMPS San Antonio, and Eva Ramirez has been just stellar working on this for us, getting it set up. But what we did is we partnered with the children's shelter, and they had an old media room. And you go in this facility. It's a residential facility for the kids, and they have 35 kids living there right now. They may be there from 3 months to 3 years. You don't know. These are kids that have been emotionally abused, mentally abused, physically abused. They've been adopted, and because of behavioral problems, they've been turned out of adoptions. And what they do at this facility is they work these kids and rehabilitate them, and with the goal of being able to put them in an adoptive or a foster family. The facility that they have is an old nursing home, and it still kind of feels like an old nursing home. And they're like every other nonprofit. They scrape for everything they can get. But one of the things that they use for the kids as a reward and to encourage good behavior is their media room. The media room was kind of old and falling apart. So what we did was we said that we would come in and we raised money and sponsorships and materials to renovate this media room. I think we've got a slide on the sponsors. No, the gavel. There we go. Maybe. Anyway, I'll keep going while they work that out. We had, like I said, we had monetary sponsors and we had in-kind sponsorships. FKP got us carpet tile for this space. We got paint, we got paper. Gavin Parr, we donated money and a television. We got 2 DVRs for them. We got musical instruments. We got 2 guitars, a ukulele, a xylophone, drum, or a little drum set. God, what else did we get them? We got them so much. Then we came in and we completely renovated the room. We painted it and we put down new carpet, and we're still going to be able to have money left over to be able to turn money back to the shelter after that, which we're thrilled with. Do you have the photos up? Don't have the photos? I gave you one thing to do. One thing to do. Good Lord. That's it. I'm done. Okay. Well, anyway, I'd show you photographs, but I can't here. I can pull out my phone. They can zoom in on it real tight. But anyway, it was just a phenomenal turnout. And the great thing about it is what we were doing, we wanted this to leave a legacy. Well, already for the LA and for the Philadelphia conferences, those conferences are already planning projects for those cities. On top of that, one thing that I found out today, which I didn't realize, CoCentral is starting a Pay It Forward program, where they're going to do it at regional conferences too. And for every person, they're teaming with a local children's charity, and for every person that comes by their booth, they donate $5. They had 253 people turn in business cards to their booth. Multiply that times 5, and they delivered a check today to the children's shelter for $1,265. So we like I said, what started as just kind of a dream a year ago about adding a community service project just to this conference is already starting to get some legs and work through, and we're just thrilled about it. A number of thank yous as I wrap up. I've already thanked the board, and I mean, I really could not have done anything without you guys. Like I said, everybody has day jobs. These are all volunteer hours, and they've just done amazing work this year. So could you please give them another round of applause? The SMPS staff is an amazing group of people, and if you haven't reached out to those people or know what they do, you should. They are an amazing bunch of people. They're so helpful, they're kind, they're thoughtful. They are solely focused on making this organization successful, and they have been behind me, had my back, and a few times my front, all the way through this year. Yeah. So please give a round of applause to the SMPS national staff. It keeps going on to SMPS Oklahoma and the groups there that have been so supportive over the years and have, actually allowed me to speak there and do some different things over the years. It's been wonderful. We've got a good contingency here. My family at Wallace Engineering, they've been super supportive. I come in the office and they say, "Who are you?" "Oh, are you here this week?" But most importantly, I want to single out two. They've had my back for the better part of the last 2 years. Jana Monforte and Allison Taylor have just been brilliant while I've been doing this, and I am forever in their debt. So when I started this journey, I became a member of SMPS in 1997 when we had a marketing director that quit, and I assumed his membership. And I went to my first conference was in Portland in 1998. And little did I know, you become part of this organization, little did I know that the road would lead me to this point. This year and leadership's a funny thing. It kind of sneaks up on you. And this year at PLS, you've heard us talk about the President's Leadership Symposium. Chair Don Greco played a TED Talk, you ought to look it up, by Drew Dudley. And I'm not going to replay the whole thing because most of you have chapter president-elects, and if they haven't made you watch it already, they will, but because it's a great talk. But the overarching point that he makes at the end of the speech is people are afraid of leadership because we make leadership too hard. We make it about changing the world is his point, and there is no world. There's only 7 billion viewpoints of that world. And if you do anything that changes just one of those viewpoints, then you've made a difference. And in the last 12 months, as I've traveled as the president of this society, every member, every chapter, all of you in this room have changed my viewpoint of the world. And my hope is that in some small part that I've had a hand in changing yours. So I will end today the same way that I started last year in Orlando. I am so honored and incredibly humbled to have served you and this society as its president, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace. Thank you. Now for the best part, right, Kevin? The best part of the business meeting is when I get to hand the gavel over to Barbara. So if you will come up, please. I know the great thing about handing off leadership is when you know that the person that you hand it off to is smarter and better at it than you are. So I am so excited about where you're going to go this year. I can't wait to see how you take us beyond. And anything I can do to help, I'll do it for you.
Absolutely.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Congratulations.
Thank you. This is a pretty little piece. Thank you. So before I introduce our new board, I'd like to make a comment about one of our current board members, or soon to be in how many minutes. We didn't even get our phones out to compare the time. We want to thank Kevin Hebblethwaite for his years of service. He has done a fantastic job of leading this organization. I know that this is not the end. It is only just one of the next steps in your journey. Can everyone please thank Kevin for his service? All right, thank you. So it looks like we've got an empty seat up here, and I'd like to introduce Tom Towns, our new board member. So this is your board for 2014-2015. Brad moves into the seat of past president. Tom Towns is our new fellows delegate. Doug Parker continues as secretary-treasurer. Melissa Letts continues as chapter delegate. Paula moves chairs and now is the president-elect of your society. And Carla Thompson changes chairs as well, and she is now your delegate at large. I'm really excited about this. So we've got 7, 200, and 365. You've got 7 board members who are committed to your success, and they are just like you, just like you. 200 combined experience of all of us together is more than 200 years of experience in professional services marketing. That is a ton of expertise, insight, and lessons learned. We understand the business that we're in, and we're going to make decisions that will help you, your firms, the industry, and our profession. 365, that is the biggest number of all of them. That's the number of days that we have in the 2014 and 2015 to make an impact on this society, which you're a member of, that is going to help you with your career. So let's talk about 3 cores. So what is a core? It is where you gain your strength. It is the place in your body, in your core, in your body is where you have the center of all of everything that is you. And Grant Corrigan talked about it this morning. So let's talk about 3 cores: my core, the society's core, and something that's really important to you, core. So let me give you a little bit of information about me. I have a core purpose in my life. It sets my direction. It's the red N on my compass. It's true north. It's the point where I want to go all the time. My core is to glorify God, serve others, seek personal excellence, and be joyful. Although after Grant's presentation this morning, I think I'm going to go from be joyful to positivity. That was very moving to me. So Strengths Finders tells me what my strengths are. And those strengths are competition, achiever, communication, activator, and significance. I know who I am, and I use the strengths to get me along on my journey and to be successful. So as your national president, the significant position that this is, I wanted to think about what is my vision. So my vision is what is the direction of the society? We are putting into place a true strategic plan for this society. We will have a core purpose, we have core values, we have a vivid description of who we are as an organization, as well as the benefit to the members, which is you. We will have big, hairy, audacious goals, and it could be disruptive and very interesting to you all. We will also have a framework that we can address mega issues, those issues that affect you in your careers, your firms, the industry, and the profession of professional services marketing. So how many of you have participated in your strategic planning in your firms? Yeah, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? Fierce conversations, this great excitement of where your firms are going. And what we found out is that it doesn't take just a day and a half. It takes a long time, and it takes a lot more thought and process to go through. So we didn't finish it in our day and a half in our planning retreat, and we're going to be meeting again next month to finish with goals, objectives, and strategies. So we're not quite there, but we are going to get there, and I promise we will communicate this tremendous strategic plan to the society during this fall. So the third core I want to talk about is continuity. What does this mean for you? Continuity, momentum, taking the benefits of where we've come in the past to where we are now, and to go beyond with a strategic plan. So think of yourself on your journey. We're in the fast lane. We've got our foot on the gas pedal, and we are not coasting. So let's think about core. We've talked about it for a couple of years now. Content, outreach, research, and every member. We're going to continue with the continuity of those programs that benefit our members. We're going to keep it so that we're focused on what works well, what doesn't work well, keep pushing it and pushing that envelope. How can we make it better? That go beyond concept. So that is the core of what is beneficial to you. So those are the three cores. Today I want to make 3 promises about those next 365 days that we have in front of us. The first is we will enhance communications and marketing in your professional society. Second of all, this board is committed to your success. We will have those fierce conversations, we will challenge each other, and we will be focused on your success for your firms, again, the industry and the profession. And then the third promise is that we are considering membership for life. What does your professional society need to do to make sure that you are successful? From a student to that newbie into the industry, to a first-time manager, to a CMO, to a seller doer, to a principal, and even to your retirees. SMPS is your professional organization. It is where you belong. It is your tribe and your community. And we are going to create a system where we have members for life, and this is the place where you will belong. So now I've talked about some promises, and that's kind of what we're promising to you, but I want you to promise something to me. One thing. Before Monday, before you go back to your work, and this weekend, and as you bask in the afterglow of Power Play, and this has been a fantastic conference, I want you to think about what is your core purpose in your life. What is your direction? What is your true north? What is important to you? How will you be successful in your firms? How will you create marketing-led firms? How do you want your journey to be? And how can SMPS help you to go beyond? So I want you to think about it, and I want you to let us know. So go beyond at smps.org is an email, and it will come directly to me. GOBEYOND@smps.org. Let me know what you have going on, because we are listening to you. So thank you very much for this tremendous, significant opportunity to lead you, and please stay in touch. Let us know what we can do to help you. Thank you very much.
And with that, And with that, the business meeting is over. We're adjourned. Thank you for coming and listening through all of this. It's been a great year, and enjoy the rest of your conference. Have a great day.